there. Good morning and welcome to the Daycare Q&A Show. I'm your host, Adrienne Bradley of Thriving Childcare, and thank you for joining me here today. It's another Wednesday. So, if you are joining me here for the first time, welcome, and if you're back, welcome back. And can you do me a favor? Can you just send me some hearts and likes just so I can see you and say hello? And if you're watching this on replay, just type replay in the comments, okay? All right, so I start every show with a few housekeeping notes. And again, I'm just going to let you know that my dogs are behind me. I know I say that every week, but my daughter is visiting this week, and my one dog, any slight little noise, he feels the need to bark at. So with her moving about, that could set him off. So I'm just letting you know. He's in the background along with the other dog, but the other dog's pretty quiet. She's a little older, so she's pretty quiet. All right, so let's see. Second, let's see. I'm reading from my notes. Oh, okay. So I've been saying this for the last few episodes, but I want to keep reiterating that the opinions that I present here on the show are mine. They're either, from something I've experienced, my own opinion, or maybe someone close to me's experience, or their something we've gone through, and that's what I base my advice and my opinion on. So I just want to say that. Feel free to take any advice that may work for your business and leave the rest. The rest might work for somebody else's business. Okay, not everything is a fit for everyone, but we do try to be a resource for you to kind of bump things off of a different person and maybe get a different aspect. And that's what I hope that the show brings. So I just want to say that. I did just notice one thing that I forgot. I did get something that is supposed to deal with the glare coming off of the screen onto my glasses, but it's not working that well. So I'm going to be looking for something else. So I'll keep pulling my glasses down during the episode just so you can, get eye contact with me. But I'm trying to deal with that whole thing. I think I'm going to get some new glasses soon and maybe get some glare resistant lenses this time, and then I'll just save these for when I go out. Okay, so let's see. Oh, and as always, we are having a giveaway during the show. So sometime during the show, or if you're catching this on a replay, you can get in on the giveaway too. I will be giving you a promo code so you can get our giveaway for free. Okay, so it is an item that's in our shop, but if you get the promo code, you can go and get that for free. Oh, and I did want to say, I always come on and I complain about this Facebook Live dashboard, but I think I'm getting used to it. And so today I was able to put links right into this episode. So you should see some links that are available to you, and one of them will be the giveaway link, but you need to stay tuned to get that promo code so you can get that for free. Okay? All right. So let's see. And lastly, of course, you can catch this replay on our YouTube channel the following day. I try to get it up in the afternoon. That's afternoon Pacific Standard Time. But sometimes the Wi-Fi gods don't work for me. I mean, with this heat, and I'm in California. It is so hot here. I'm in the San Fernando Valley of California, and it has been in triple digits. Like, I know it's been across the country, but the air is coming on even before 10 o'clock. So it gets really hot, and it does play havoc with my Wi-Fi a little bit. So hopefully we'll get through the episode without any glitches, but I just wanted to say that. Okay, so let's see what's going on in the Thriving Childcare universe this week. Okay, first of all, today This episode is sponsored by the Provider Planner and Organizer, our luxury planner just for childcare owners. And we still have some of our stripe planners left. We had an overrun of those, so we have some that we have discounted up to $20 on those striped planners, so you can still get in on that. And you should see a link in this show where you can go over and check out the planner. And again, you can get that stripe, the hardbook version. Essentially, you can get that stripe version for the price of our softbook version. So it's a really good deal. It's a really good time to do that and beat the rush. And yeah, so check out the link. And while I'm talking about the planner, I promised last week to tell you about a special event coming up very soon, which is on August 1st. August 1st, every year, is National Planner Day. And I know there's a day for everything nowadays, but it is National Planner Day. And if you don't know what that is, it's a day when people who love planners or people who want to know more about how to use planners kind of just geek out about learning how to get their life organized using a planner. So we are having a giveaway for that event. We're giving away several of our planners. And you should see a link in this show, and if not, I'll put it in the show notes. I'll put it in the show notes where you can go over and just enter the giveaway for, maybe you can get a free planner. Okay? Let's see. So, all right. So before we dive into the questions, I want to do something new, a little new, and kind of bring you into the conversation. So I was recently talking to a provider friend of mine, and we were talking about the need for internal policies and procedures in our business, and kind of what I call the power of the pause. And I think I've talked about it before, but maybe not here. And what I mean by that is a lot of times, I know for myself, in dealing with parents, in dealing with even prospective parents, they would ask a question of me, or ask me to do something, or maybe even it involves straying from our normal policies and procedures that I have in place for the business. And I would feel like a deer in the headlights. So I would feel compelled to answer, like right then. You know what I mean? I would just be caught off guard, and I might say something that I regretted later. And I've talked about how I specifically remember one client that was going through a separation or divorce, and she was having some financial issues. And she was telling me that she was struggling when it came to the childcare tuition. And I felt compelled to help her, and blurted out, okay, and I offered to reduce her childcare tuition, and so I did that. But the thing about it was, because I, in the moment, blurted that out or made a sporadic decision, I didn't think it all the way through. So there were no parameters around it. In other words, there was no end date. And it wasn't until later on that I had a conversation with one of my sons, and he said, Mom, people have problems now and again, but trouble don't last always. And what he meant was, usually people recover. And so there should have been an end date, or at least a date where we would go and evaluate this reduction. Typically, you'll find other businesses do this, just on the usual. There are sales and things where things are reduced, but the following week it goes back to the regular price. So if you think about it that way, it's completely reasonable on a business sense. But also, it didn't make sense. And I remember several, I don't want to say several years, maybe several months, maybe a year or sometime later, I remember her saying, "Oh, Miss A, I just bought a house." And I was, what came to mind, right? I was like, okay, so you were able to save and buy a house, and that's great, but you still aren't paying your full tuition. But that was my bad. That was on me, because I just kind of put out that a blanket exception for her that didn't end, and then it was awkward to go back and readdress it. So today I want to talk about what me and my friend were talking about, and we were talking about having these internal policies and procedures in place. And like I said, I think of it as the power of the pause. And I came up with that because I remember talking to my other son, and he was saying that when he gets in those moments, he will cough, like physically cough, to give himself a moment of clarity to, I said I'm going to take off my glasses, I forgot, to be able to compose himself or think about what's going on right now, and not just be, impulsive and answer and say something that he doesn't mean or he didn't want to say. Now, I'm going to go further than that, because when I was talking to my friend, we were talking about, like I said, internal policies and procedures. And I would say, what wound up happening for me, and maybe this is something you might want to adopt too, is to give yourself time to think about what's being asked, what's being proposed. Okay, so no matter what it is, maybe there's a situation where a parent is going to have to work late for a week, and they want to know if you would mind keeping their child an extra 30 minutes or however long it's going to be. And, I would say, give yourself time. Tell the parent, or have an internal policy where you say, okay, well, let me get back to you. We'll talk about it either next business day or tomorrow. And give yourself time to think about if that's viable or not, if that is going to work. It'll give you time to look at your schedule. Maybe you have things that you have appointments for next week, or you have plans next week, and that's not going to work. Maybe, and I talked about it last week, you're in a situation where that will take you outside of your operating hours, and that's not something you want to risk. So it'll give you time to realize that that's the case. Not just that, you don't want to do it, you shouldn't do it, right? So basically giving yourself time. And this is just one internal policy, but this was the topic of our conversation. And she said she was really, she thought that was a really good idea. And it's not something that I came up with early on in my business. I just realized that I have the impulse, and a lot of us do, we're compassionate people, so we want to help. And sometimes, we'll blurt out these things that really, they're either not things that we shouldn't do or things that we don't want to do. And giving yourself time, there's nothing wrong with that. Give yourself time to think about it, to make those considerations of your time, or whatever it is, to give yourself time. So think about maybe having a mindset of having some internal policies. And we can talk further about this on a different episode, about maybe some internal policies that you might want to set up for your business. But I just wanted to kind of bring you into that conversation, because that was something that we've been talking about lately. And man, I wish I had that with that one client especially. I wish I had taken the time to think about it. Okay, so let's dive into the questions while we still have time. So let's see. All right. So the first question is from Lily. She says, how do you plan fun and exciting activities for all the kids at the daycare so nobody gets bored? Okay. Well, probably for centers as well. My background is, if I haven't said before, is in home-based childcare. That is my business. a lot of times you're dealing with different age groups of children. So it's a really good question that Lily asked. And this is something that you should, well, I'm not going to say what you should do, that it would benefit you if you actually planned out, if you have that situation, if you have a situation where you have different age groups, or maybe you have children that have different interests, that's more than likely true for every one of us. To plan these things out, to plan out during your day, to have different types of activities, to maybe split the activities. If you have an assistant, maybe the assistant works on with the children when they're doing block play, and maybe you are doing another activity with some of the other children who are more interested, or you have this free play time. And I know this is old hat to people who have been in business for a while. I've taken care of children for a while, but having different ideas for maybe even the same type of activity. I know that what I would do sometimes is in the morning I would have some activity set out on the table so that the kids would come in and be inspired or interested in playing with those, and immediately, trying something different. But planning these things out and having plan Bs is a good idea, because they may not be interested. They may not, depending on which child it is or whatever, or what day it is, how they're feeling, whatever, they may or may not be interested. So having another activity that you transition to, and again, depending on the age group, 20 minutes is usually the span for their attention anyway. So I would say to plan to transition to something else, or several different activities throughout the day would probably be a good idea. To keep them from getting bored. But again, this is something that you kind of learn with the age group, or you kind of adjust with the age group that you are caring for, or that you have now, and that'll change later, and as they get older that'll change as well. So it's constantly changing. So I hope that answered your question, Lily. All right, the next question is from Olivia. It said, she said, I've heard that daycare owners need to do lots of planning. How do they decide on what events to plan and games to play? So that's kind of, leading back to what we were talking about earlier with the planner and the National Planner Day. Using a tool like that, and again, this is not something that I did initially, but using a tool like that can give you ideas for different events, different activities to plan. This year, I started putting out posts on the blog that are based on a lot of the days that we have in the planner. So we had one earlier in the spring that was called Penguin Day. There's actually, I'm telling you, there's a national day for just about everything. You would be surprised. But in the planner, there are quite a few of these fun different observances that you can kind of build a curriculum or activities or even an event around. And this one was National Penguin Day. And for me to recall it, there were different recipes where you can like have a snack that looked like a penguin. There's penguin, I think it was a penguin dance or a penguin walk. Who does that the best? So using a planner, if like the provider planner that's right behind me, to pick out some of these days throughout the year that we typically don't pay any attention to or even know about. Like, do you even know that there's a National Chicken Dance Day? I think that's in January. But I mean, you can see how these can be turned into fun activities and kind of mix things up from the usual in your business and be fun for the children. So using a calendar and going to I think it's called What Day Is This, or National Days. You can do a Google search and find those websites. It'll tell you what day is this. If there's some fun thing, like there's a National Talk Like a Pirate Day. And I think there's Talk Like a Parrot Day too, but anyway, Talk Like a Pirate Day. That would be so much fun. Of course, you know that there's days like, I think it was last Sunday, there was Batman Day. So some of these fall on the weekend, but that doesn't mean that you can't celebrate them another day at your childcare. So that's my advice, Olivia. Kind of use those kind of resources. Kind of think out of the norm and try and find some new and fun things to do that you can, mix it up at your business for the kids and for you. It makes it more fun and it spices things up. All right, Olivia says sometimes kids at the daycare don't want to take naps. What can I do to make nap times go better? Okay. Well, I think I did talk about this last week too. The fact that I have a routine, a nap time routine. I think a lot of us do. Where I put on lullabies, I dim the room, and if you want, go back to last week's episode and kind of listen to that whole setup that I was talking about. But again, just like anything else, we were just talking about having different activities and transitioning to different activities. Especially when you're having new children come in, they don't know what the routine, they don't know what the daily schedule looks like. They don't know what they're doing from one moment to the next, and they have to get used to it. So announcing those routines, I know I would use a timer to kind of, transition from one thing to the next. And the same thing with nap time. Our nap time goes right after our lunchtime. So it's something that they do get used to it very quickly because it happens the same way every day. I would say try to keep to that. Make sure that nap time is around the same time every day. Talk to the parents. Maybe if you're having issues with one child, maybe they're going to sleep late, waking up early. Maybe something that is going on at home is kind of dictating what's happening at nap time when they're in childcare. So talk to the parents and find out. Another thing that I did with my clients was to encourage them to kind of keep with the same nap times over the weekends, because it's just harder on the children when they've done whatever all weekend. I know it's summer now, so it's kind of whatever goes, because usually on the weekend we're going out and doing different activities, and maybe we don't have the same schedules that we would even have throughout the year on the weekend. But especially with a young child, the closer you can keep to the same routines, the easier it is for them to become used to them and not show up back on Monday and need to start from ground zero all over again. So talk to the parents, see if there's some things that are going on with how late they go down for nap or how early they go down for nap. I have one child that parents put them down for the night by, I want to say 6 p.m., which was almost like an hour after they left care here. So they would be up really early. And so what wound up happening was they would get tired really early, much earlier than our scheduled nap time here. And they would get irritable, and it was causing all kind of issues. And when I found out that the child was going to bed for the night so early, I was able to make adjustments when it came to that child. I was able to make sure he was fed first, he's got his diaper changed first, and he went down first, because I knew he was going to be tired. So talk to the parents, kind of see if you need to make some adjustments in your nap time, maybe set up a nap time routine like we talked about last week. Okay, I'm running short on time, so it is giveaway time. Yay! It's giveaway time. Okay, so this week, if you are attending me live or if you're watching this on replay, you can get a copy of our new affirmation deck cards. Okay, so in this episode, there should be a link, and if not, I will put it in the show notes where you can go over to the shop and get our affirmation cards for free. But you need to put in this promo code. The promo code is free for me. So that's FREE, the number 4, and ME. FREE, the numeral 4, ME. And you will get that for free. Okay. So, and I need to say this, that you're able to do that up to a week after this first airs. So today is July 26, 2023. So next week we'll have a new giveaway, and this one will expire. Okay. All right. So let's get back to our questions. I have a couple more here, and then I will let you go. It's this one's from Isabel. She says, I'm curious about how daycare owners keep everything organized. I guess she's having some issues with staying organized. Can you tell me some secrets to keeping daycare stuff tidy and in its place? Okay. Well, I'm going to presume you're not just talking about the toys and the different things that the kids use. I'm going to presume you're talking about things like paperwork and all the other things. Again, I'm going to refer back to having and using a planner. Okay, a planner like the provider planner and organizer, but a planner, because even just having a weekly planner and setting up a specific day to clear your desk, to file those things that need to go in the children's files, to check, do a check. I think I talked in a previous episode about having a specific day of the month or of the week where you go and pull a file and you check through, either it's a children's file, your file, your business file, or maybe your assistant's file, but to have a routine of having a day where you go and you do that type of work. And if it has to be after hours, then at least you can set a specific day and a specific amount of time to do that. Otherwise, you might wind up like me years ago when I just kept putting it off. I'm a master procrastinator. I can put things off that I don't want to do and rationalize them and then stress over them, you know. But if you set up a specific routine and put it on your calendar that today is file day, maybe Friday is file day, you're going to pull out a file, you're going to check through it, and once you get a routine going, it won't take that long, right? You'll get used to it, you'll get a workflow, and it won't take that long. So using a tool like a planner can help you with a lot of different things to stay organized. All right, setting up these different times that you do these different tasks makes it not so overwhelming, and you don't want to procrastinate it like I wanted to do. You actually get it done, and so that when licensing shows up or when it's tax season or whatever, you're ready, or you're at least 90% ready. Okay, so that's what my suggestion would be, is to find a resource, find a tool like a planner to set up routines for yourself. And if it's once a week, once a month, set those things up so that you can, stay organized. You can get organized, and then you can stay organized. Okay, last question. We're right on time. It says, this is from Lily again. It says, sometimes we have special days at the daycare, like Pajama Day or Crazy Hat Day. How can I plan more of these fun events? Okay, so that is just like what I was talking about before. This is great because it's all around Planner Day, which I'm really excited about. But in the provider planner, we list out a lot of those fun observances, and I think I'm going to start mentioning them here. I'll go into the planner and I'll mention some days that are happening. We're going to be next week. I think the show is on the 2nd, but I'll give you the events that are happening in the month of August. we can start doing that, so that you can see that there's different events that you can, not necessarily events, but maybe activities that you can plan on certain weeks, around certain days, and it just kind of gives you a new energy about planning events or activities. Okay, something we were talking about, I think it was last week, we were talking about having a luau. I'm always in favor of a luau. I remember my husband and I went to visit my sister-in-law, and at the time she was living in Maui, and when I came back I had this sarong that she had given me, and so we had a luau here at the Childcare, and I was able to put on my sarong, which was very comfortable to move around in during the day, but it was very colorful, and it kind of just, it was a new and fun activity that we were doing at the daycare. It was still really hot, so we couldn't do too much outside, but it gives you different energy to come up with different ideas for different activities in your business for the children and for yourself. Like I said, once you get inspired and think about different things and ways that you can interpret things, it really is fun. It really is fun. So I'll talk about that more, okay? But yeah, look at some of those, go to some of those sites that I was talking about earlier. What day is it? I think it's what day is it? Google this. What day is it? I'll put a note when I figure out what the name of the website is. I'll put it in the show notes. But what day is it? National days, I think. I'll put it in the show notes. But go to one of those sites and kind of just look and see what days are coming up for August. What days can I maybe, celebrate with the children? And it could just be something you make for breakfast. It could be something that, some activity you do. It could be a book that you read, but it gives you different energy and different ideas, right? Okay, so that's it for the questions for this week. Remember to you can submit a question early in this episode. I left a link where you can go and submit a question, and then I can answer it next week. So you can submit your questions early, and if you can't make the show, you can catch it on replay, and I'll answer your question there. So check that link out. Let's see, and I think that's it for this week. Yeah, so I did leave a link, and I will put it in the show notes where you can go and enter the giveaway, the planner giveaway, which is for, like I said, National Planner Day, which is next week on the 1st. And yeah, so I'm Adrienne Bradley, your host for the Daycare Q&A Show, and I can't wait to continue this incredible journey with you next week. Until then, keep thriving. See you next week.